Na Blood Bowl Song.
Hello, this is Richard Castlevania coming to you with the final Division 5 recap for the season. Think of this like a high school graduation ceremony, but somehow more disappointing. And much like a high school graduation, there are winners and losers. But never fear, I am a benevolent recapper and have decided to give out custom participation awards to every one of you little snowflakes, so you don't feel left out. Let's start with the teams that matter. Play-ins were so small and competitive this season that if you lost a game out of the gate, you may as well not bother. Let's just say that's why Ed, Havoc, and the Menagroth Rovers did, because it sounds better than him being the team that everyone bullied for 5 games straight. This was the first team to get actually scary stats this season, which made him by default the coach to hate. But not much has happened with the team since, giving everyone else time to catch up to his grossness. Like seriously, what was in the water in Division 5 this season, you mutant freaks? And now for the award, for his early season development spice and for coming last in the play-ins, I bestow upon Ed, Havoc, and the Menagroth Rovers the early peaking best loser award for traitor ex-stunted coaches. Tomo and Teams of Battle had the right idea. The Nurgle got bodied by cheating War Dancers Game 1, came back for their revenge against poor Ed Game 2, and then Tomo quit for the rest of the season, presumably because he realized Nurgle are gross and shouldn't be played by anyone ever. If he does the unthinkable and comes back with his team next season, there's a good ball carrier and 3 competent warriors to carry him through, as well as a dirty player to keep opponents hating his guts until he gets his first claw pump. Tomo and Teams of Battle win the Hit It and Quit It award for gross teams that mercifully bow out early. Let's hope it sticks and we won't be seeing another 2000 TV plus claw pump Nurgle apocalypse. Despite a nail-biting and hard-fought race to get the play-in spot, Starkweather and the Norwegian Black Metal could not get a W on the board until his bye against the Nurgle Quitters. On the upside, the bye gave Stark enough money to finally rebuy his second bull and complete the Chorthruster. Hopefully this one won't die in his very first game. Ha, never mind, he's doomed. Stark and Black Metal earned themselves the Richard Castlevania Scholarship for poor coaches who never learn but have giant balls. Lord Deacons and Vance Wobstone Tour, a brand new REBBL coach who went undefeated for 8 straight games with Underworld, would usually be a cause for celebration. He however made the mistake of getting up my hopes, and then dashed them against some overdeveloped Norse. It goes without saying Lord Deacons and Vance are now dead to me. The throwers are the best thing on the team going into their second season, and he has a wrestle goblin that he protects like a force-burned child, and who knows, Lordy may even be able to keep a blitzer long enough to get their second skill. Probably not. Lord Deacons and Vance Wobstone Tour win the Disappointment World Award for teams that have the audacity not to live up to my hype. Synergy and taking care of elfiness may look like locker noobs, having gotten into play-ins on a bye week while relying on 2 other games to go his way, but the fact that he took out second in the Challengers Cup slot solidly confirms it. The Agi Strip Tackle War Dancer ensures no opponent leaves the game without an aneurysm, the Movement Catcher can 1-turn if there's a slight breeze, and the Kick Catcher confirms the brain damage we were all suspecting. That means Synergy and elfiness take home the I tripped and now I'm a winner award for coaches who choose skills when they have a concussion. Saying someone is the winner of Div 5 is like saying someone is the prettiest person at the Nurgle Rota murder ball. The bar is pretty low and you're very likely to get murdered. Leo Manfranger FC snatched the only playoff spot for the division. Honestly, there are worse teams to be taking into a meat grind. The Nickel Ball Carrier isn't ideal, but he has mass block by default. The Oof Warriors have block and a support skill. There's a couple of stats, some subs, some dirty players, 2-ish killers, and a miracle yeti. Therefore, Leo Manfranger FC win the All Eggs in One Fragile Basket award for teams that better win playoffs so they're basically garbage. Now, for the training grounds. The Mauler and the Ultimate Celebrities gave themselves an interesting challenge this training grounds to lose every game despite having a natural 1-turner heading up a stable of developed runners. Luckily for them, they matched up against 3 Wood Elf teams in a row, guaranteeing the Mauler would have a terrible time and never want to play Blood Bowl again. The team still looks good for next season though, except the Wood Elf PTSD has tricked him into buying a Rat Ogre. That being said, every Division 5 coach has rolled 2 doubles straight up on their the big guy, so he will probably be fine. The celebrities wrap up the last place but still a rat bastard award for the team with the most annoying player in the division. Staunch defenders and Lofty managed to lay down a couple of draws against some 5C Wood Elves, but was kept in second last place by a loss to humans and the Halfling Plague on Division 5. It's hard to complain when your team looks like this at the end of the season, and whatever division Staunch going into is probably going to have some strong words for Lofty's Season 16 opponents. They win their Scourge of Next Season award for teams you wish would retire but won't. Ozzy Viking abandoned the poor Goblin team at the start of the split to bring in the Rat team, the Darwinist, adding to the apocalyptic amount of agility teams in training grounds. They brought him his first and only victory for the season. Good job, Ozzy. Next season, let's go for 2. With this much Gatorana development, 150k cash, and a Claw Blitzer, we might see the Darwinists next season, but they'll have to rough it in Div 4 with a bunch of X-Div 5 stat freaks and some disgraced X-Div 2 coaches with a billion seasons under their belts. Therefore, Ozzy Viking and the Darwinists get the Stunty Abandonment Award for coaches with commitment issues. Up to this point, counting with Dead Elves has been a bit of a misnomer. Sure, Lennon has lost every game but one, but his team always stays intact. Until Noop and his dinosaurs tore through half his team in game 2. He deserves it though. Look at these puking deuces. And this is after everyone died. A 5-1 win versus the celebrities let the Dead Elves strengthen their core, and now Lennon is all set to inexplicably lose every game next season with an even better team. He wins the Big Swing No Ding award for teams that look way better than they perform. After just narrowly missing a play-in spot, Sky Blue Monty and his bash halflings, fling-a-ling fancy fellows, continue to make a menace of themselves in training grounds, putting a developed dwarf and Skaven team in their place. Just look at these hungry idiots. Although Quickfeet obviously being the star with block, mighty blow and jump up, this may be a record for most concurrent doubles on a halfling team. With that, I bestow upon Monty and the fancy fellows the What the Hell Just Happened award for teams that break my brain. Stoxy and Ratataptan's repossession held on to their mid-table spot with a mirror match win at the top end of the training grounds, and an elf stop at the bottom end with their most significant loss being to halflings in round 4. The team is well set for their second season with a disgusting block pro ogre and an agility runner, with only unfortunate part being the armor bust on the big hand 2-heads gunner who may not belong for this world. He wins the Doping Scandal Investigation Award for teams with suspiciously good big guys. Nomad and Mercury's Centaurs had a promising start to the training grounds with a win-draw-win record until he ran up against the current champ and had to concede game 5. Like all the Div 5 chores, his development is a bit behind the other coaches, but sure hands, agility Brock, Hobgoblin, and a strength 5 monster Bull are nothing to sniff at. They are the lucky winners of the Slow and Steady Breaks Your Face Award for teams that will be a nightmare in one more season. Noop and Jurassic Park Fan Club outperformed their regular season record with only a single loss in training grounds and 2 wins versus Flings and Dead Elves. The more impressive win obviously being the Flings. He heads into season 17 with almost all Blocksaurus, as well as a Blood Skink and a Shorehand Skink. Though unfortunately the Blood Shorefeet Skinky's movement busted. I award him the Please Nuffle No More Rats and Elves award for coaches who had the worst matchups of the season. The 7 Chorers had a rocky start when they drew against the Rookie Rats game 1, but followed that with back-to-back victories and only lost a shot at the top spot in the last week with a loss against Misspelled 3. Training grounds were good for the Chorves as I picked up a bunch of Mighty Blow and Guard to generally make my life miserable for anyone they verse next season. The 7 Chorves win the Blowing Mightily award for somehow being the Chorf team with the most deaths and the most development. The Butcher Birds couldn't get the points early enough to be a contender for the Challengers Cup due to some unknown, probably assassin-related reason, but at least they didn't lose against the Halflings. In true Div 5 tradition, the team is rife with doubles and stats, with more guard linemen than some Dwarf and Chorf teams, and a movement which to make the frenzy threat a real problem. Ziedman wins the Teammates with Benefits award for teams that are a little too good at giving each other a hand, if you know what I mean. After fending off some disappointing elves, Charberson and Tongue My Warp Drive had an unfortunate loss to the Rookie Rats, and then the eventual Training Ground champ. Had one of those games gone the other way, we may may have seen these humans in challengers instead. Once the most developed team in Div 5, Tongue My Warp Drive has stagnated a bit with 7 deaths, including 2 catchers, a blitzer, and an ogre with at least 1 skill each. They still have an agility 4 murder blitzer and a decent thrower to take into next season though, so the team is not all lost. Jobberson takes home the One Spicy Player award for teams that are humans and totally not boring. The Demi-Elves were the only team to beat the Misspelled T's and did so in the first round. They looked all set to take the cup spot until Goran swept in with a 3-1 win in the last game, opening the window for the last minute upset. Scarecrow looked at all the crazy stats and doubles flying around Division 5 and decided it was too silly for him, and therefore only has 1 of each, though it has the benefit of not making him bloated as all sin. Scarecrow and the Demi-Elves earned a sensible award for elves who were screwed out of Challengers Cup. Goran and Top of the Branches looked like they'd be out of the running by game 2, but with back-to-back wins and a good TD diff for the rest of training grounds, he was in a spot to take the division if the T's and Chorvs tied. Branches have the second fastest piece in Div 5 and an agility strip dancer to make him steal and score an ever-present threat. Also, it goes without saying he has block on the tray and multiple guard pieces because Nuffle is giving them out like candy. Goran and the Branches win the Eternal Bridesmaid Award for teams who are perpetually just missing out on qualifying. Miss Beltry wasn't even sure she'd play the training grounds due to a string of bad luck in the tail end of the main season, but after her initial loss to the Demi-Elves, the Tears nailed every matchup until they snatched the top spot in the very last game. The team is fairly basic by Division 5 standards, which is to say ridiculous and unfair. Everyone gets a stat freak dancer with 3 taking the favored agility boost and is supported by a squall line elf, guard catcher, and normal but well developed secondary dancer and catchers. Misspelled 3 and the Misspelled T's win the Misspelled OG Did I Just Win award. This award actually comes with a Misspelled trophy, which can be sent to you with a postage misspelled fee of misspelled $300 spent to me in misspelled cash misspelled please. And now for the biggest award of the season, the one you've all been waiting for, the worst coach in BigO, and it goes to everyone! Watching you all this season has been literal torture. From Siegmund's 3 die uphill blitzer death to Lennon's Hexa skull against the goblin to all of 5B being unable to beat halflings. You are all, every one of you, not only a blight on the REBBL community but on the game of Blood Bowl itself. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. I truly loathe you all, and the only good thing to come out of this season is that it ended, and that you will all be quitting in shame. For the last time this season, I have been Richard Castlevania. Good night.
Do 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 dum jump jump do 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 bum ba bum 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 do 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 bum do bum ba bum bum ba da da dum 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 jim jim jum jim jim jum jum dum dum jim 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 dum yeah 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 wah 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 wee bling blong 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 bling bong 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 yeah wah 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 wah